Hello and welcome to the Twins Mummy and I podcast. I am mummy to 2-year-old twins Isla and Daria. Join us in our twin adventure as I explore a range of topics on parenthood. Hello everybody and welcome to the 33rd episode of the Twins Mummy and I podcast. If you've just stumbled upon this podcast, my name is Carla and I work as a TV journalist, but now I am a stay-at-home mum to twin toddlers. If you're interested in topics such as maternal mental health, parental well-being, and what life is really like for a first-time twin mum, then this is the place for you. You are very welcome. You can also check out our twin adventure on Instagram at twinsmummyani. Now, I had planned to record today's episode in the toy room here at home with Isla and Aria. But, like all things in motherhood, nothing goes to plan. We are just in from our little tots group. In fact, this was a brand new tots group that we had attended today, and I was a little bit nervous to say the least. I'm sure if there are any mums and dads of multiples out there listening, whenever you're out and about, perhaps maybe attending somewhere new, logistics and getting out and about on your own with 2 or 3 or 4. There are lots of things that you like to consider. But I thought, you know what, I'll try and muster up some courage and get out the door and see what it's like. And I'm very glad that I did. I was very nervous because I didn't know what to expect. And if I would, did I just hear a dummy drop? I think I did. Nope. Yes, I hear a little baby wicked. Hello, Miss Isla. You didn't take much of a nap today. Here, look, there's a wee doody. Are you going back to sleep? Are you gonna, is it time for up? You tell Mommy, that's eyes closed. Are you gonna sleep, are you? Oh, Mama's wee Isla, good care. Look, wait till I turn the Mr. Sheep on here. Shh, good care. Do you want a wee blanket? Hold on. Look, there's a wee blanket for Miss Isla. Good girl. Do you want Mr. Teddy? Want Mr. Teddy? You want Mr. Teddy. Oh, he's tired. Mommy's just recording her podcast. It's just started. Do you want to continue with your wee nap? You didn't take much of a nap today. Your eyes are closing. Eyes are closing. Good girl. Shh. Shh. Good girl, wee Isla. Good girl, darling. Right, I'll just tiptoe back out of the girls' bedroom. I'll just have a wee peek over at Aria here, actually. Just double check that she's still sleeping. Oh, we have a wee movement. I see a wee leg moving, but I hear a wee snore, so we're doing okay. Right. Yeah, I'll just tiptoe very nicely outside of their little bedroom. Yes, where was I? We were at a brand new tots group today. And we've just come in through the door and the girls, got 2 nappies changed and the girls are down in their cot in their bedroom having a little nap. I'm exhausted today. I'm always really tired. Whenever you come back from tots group, you're running after the girls. They're so active now. We're obviously in the middle of the toddler stage. So like I could be doing with a wee nap, but I thought I'll grab the microphone and record this week's podcast for you. And now I was hoping to get a nap maybe by the end of it before the girls wake up from their nap, but I don't think we'll manage it. We'll see. We will be crashing into lunchtime today, and as I sit here and look out the window, the sun is shining. I might get the paddling pool out this afternoon and get it up for the 2 girls just to enjoy the nice sunny weather when it's here. I'm hoping that this lovely spell of weather that we've had recently isn't our summer, but I'm kind of a big fan of getting out the door and enjoying the weather whenever we can. So Isla has woke up from her nap there, but she's nice and quietly went back over to sleep again. I had a wee keek over at Aria, and Aria's still sleeping. So I'll keep going with this podcast. I may be interrupted if the girls wake up from their nap and we crash into lunchtime. I'll make the girls their lunch and we'll keep recording the podcast. Now, to mark the 33rd episode of the Twins Mummy NI podcast, I thought it might be nice just to sort of slow down, pause, and reflect on my experience of what the past 2 years of twin motherhood has been like. I'm sure if there are any of you out there listening have caught some of my previous episodes, you know it can only be described in one word as a complete roller coaster. There have been many ups and many downs as well, but I guess that is what life is all about. We, as a family, we have laughed, we have cried, and I certainly don't want to count the number of nappies that have changed over the past 2 years. I should have kept count, but I couldn't be bothered enough to concern myself over the past 2 years to sit and count nappies, let me tell you. But if I had to hazard a guess, I'm sure it was in the thousands. But I am hoping the nappy chapter will be coming to an end in the not too distant future, and I'm so excited about that. That's one thing I'm certainly not going to miss about motherhood is changing two sets of nappies at the same time. We have bought a little potty recently, and the idea of potty training, I have no idea what to expect. But anyway, in fact, I can't actually get my head around it at all. I'm sitting here, and to the right of me, I'll just describe it to you. The potty that's sitting right beside me. It's a tiny version of what looks like an actual toilet. And if one of the girls uses the loo, it plays a little song. Like, can you believe that? How people are so creative and come up with something like that. But I thought that, and I thought, wouldn't that be fun for the girls? I don't know how it's going to go, but it's here anyway. We've ordered it and it's arrived. And whenever the time is right to start potty training, sure, we'll give it a go and see how we get on. Now, did you ever in all your life the idea of a little potty playing playing a song for you? But when I think to myself, I wouldn't mind hearing a few tunes every time I use the loo, but it probably wouldn't be the best crack if my husband and I are up throughout the night using the toilet and you're awakened by the sound of a rave blasting from the bathroom because you used the facilities. Anyway, look, yeah, do you know what? Forget that idea. The small toilet sitting here in the corridor in its box, and it'll be sitting here for a while, let me tell you, until I think that the time is right to start potty training in our house. Now, I'm not going to lie. I am really looking forward to not having to change two sets of nappies. I'm sure there are many of you out there who have come through the nappy stage, know exactly what I'm talking about. But at the same time, I'm not sure how in the world to potty train twins. Like, how do you potty train two at the same time? But once the time is right and we reach this milestone, I'll come back to you and let you know the shenanigans of the potty training in our house and what that chapter might look like. I have no idea what to expect, but we'll give it a go and see how we get on. Anyway, where was I? Yes, the past 2 years have been a busy time of it, to say the least, but we've survived it all. And that, I think, is the important lesson for me here. We've managed the good days, the bad days, and we've come out the other side knowing that we can handle whatever comes our way. And for me, the learning is always in doing. And I try to remind myself of all of the hard things in life that we have managed when difficult challenges do crop up in life. We survived. And this has been the biggest lesson, certainly, that I have learned since I've become a twin mum. I try to treat each day as a brand new day. And I try not to carry anything into the new day either. And that really helps me just to take the pressure off the everyday conundrum of parenthood. Life can certainly feel very busy at times, can't it? I mean, just last week, for example, we attended a couple of tots groups. And if one twin wasn't trying to escape, the other was trying to break into storerooms, climb the furniture, or perhaps turn into storybooks that some of the other children would like to read as well. But I'm so thankful for the girls. Their little smiles and their mischievousness never fail to make me laugh at times. This toddler stage, whilst it is very busy, it is quite funny as well because their little personalities are starting to shine through. But motherhood, like many things in life, has its ebbs and flows, doesn't it? It gets easier, then perhaps it gets a little bit harder, and then it's easier again. And just talking about that, I recently posted a photo on the Twins Mummy NI Instagram page and it received a lot of feedback from all of you. So I thought I would touch on it here in today's podcast. I visited the marina up at the Antrim Castle Gardens just a few weeks ago. And exactly 2 years ago on that very date was the first day that I ventured out on my own with the girls. They weren't very old. In fact, they were 2 weeks old at the time. And I remember that day very well. I think I brought half the house with me as I hadn't one clue what it actually would be like venturing out of the house on my own with two newborn babies. To say that I was nervous was a massive understatement. However, I'm happy to say that the little trip out went very well. And I made the same trip back to that very location, only this time the girls were toddlers. A very, very different day out compared to those early days of motherhood. And as I walked with the pram and we watched the little ducks eat some lunch that afternoon, I couldn't help but reflect on everything that has happened over the past 2 years since that first trip out on my own with the girls. I thought it might be nice to have a chat with you in more detail about what I have learned in 2 years of twin motherhood. So let's go back to the very beginning. Do you remember those early days of parenthood when you arrived home from the hospital and you're trying to find your own little groove of parenting? And certainly for me, there were hard days, there were happy days, and there were those days in between where we did what we needed to do to get by, and you know what? That was good enough. I've heard lots of people say, enjoy these early years of parenthood, Carla, as they fly by. But can I be honest with you? They haven't for me. Certainly that first year of motherhood did indeed feel like a year long. And the hardest part for me in those early days were managing hormones and learning how in the world to be a mum to two brand new babies. Before I became a mum, I didn't really think much about what life would be like when the babies would arrive until they were actually here in the world. I felt there was enough to think about and contend with during pregnancy and going through the birth experience. If I had thought about anything else on top of that, it just would have been very overwhelming. So I didn't really consider about what life would really be like when the girls did arrive. Yes, we bought the pram and we bought the car seats and a couple of baby grows to get us started anyway. But I didn't really think much about whenever those wee baby grows would be filled or that pram actually would have babies in it. Do you know what? I can hear another wee cry. I can hear another wee noise. Right, let's see. I think it might be Ari. It's waking this time. Let's go and investigate. I'll kick in here. Yes, I certainly hear a wee noise. Didn't I tell you we would get interrupted during the podcast? Isla is still sleeping with her little bear. Yes, Mommy hears you. Mommy hears you. This podcast episode is obviously about motherhood and twin motherhood. Yes, hello, Miss Aria. So you're certainly getting a very real and authentic experience of what family life is like as a twin mum here in our family home. Wait till Mommy opens these curtains here. Look at that, the sun's still shining. You had a big sleepy, didn't you? You had a big sleepy. Are you and Mommy going to chill here? What do you want to do? Isla's still sleeping. There's a dummy lying on the floor. Who owns that? That dummy. Yes, I know, that's your dummy. Do you want it? Good girl, now look. Yes, are you going to have queer crack with a blanket? Right, well sure, Mommy will sit down beside you here in the cot and you can play away in your blanket until you decide you're ready for up. Will that do? Right, that's okay, you tear on. Right, now don't you be wrecking that dummy. Right. Where was I? Yes, as I said, you're certainly getting a very real and honest experience of what family life is like as a twin mum in our home here. Let me look at my watch. Yes, we're okay. Aria is currently bouncing up and down in her cot here. Yes, darling, yes. But we'll keep going anyway with the podcast and see how we go. And we were chatting there about the early days of motherhood. And the hardest part for me were managing hormones and learning how in the world to be a mum to two brand new babies. I didn't attend any antenatal classes, and when people talked about pregnancy and what life is like in that first year of motherhood, there seemed to be a lot of negative stories. People talked about how tired I would be, how much our lives would completely change. Yes, we pet. How we wouldn't have time to meet our own basic needs. Are you kicking out the window? Are you kicking out the window? You're having queer crack in that cot. But listening to these stories painted a picture of a life that would, for me, what appeared to be more as a torment as opposed to a joy. And whilst life as a mum, in my experience, has certainly become almost unrecognisable at times, it is nothing like any of the stories that I had heard before becoming a mother. Why do we focus so much on negative stories? I myself can be included in that as well. I tend to focus maybe more on negative stories about different things in life, not necessarily motherhood. I think to myself, why do we focus so much on it? If I had a penny for every sensationalised and embellished story about pregnancy, birth and motherhood, I'd certainly be a very rich person indeed. Go you easy. Now look, you'll be going head first over that cot in a minute. Hi, hello. I don't understand why stories focus a lot on the negativity about motherhood, especially when the listeners of these stories haven't experienced pregnancy or motherhood before. You can hear Aria laughing in the background. Her dad has just come through the door. I have to admit in this house that Daddy's definitely the favourite one. There's absolutely no doubt about it. Daddy is the fun one in this house, so it might become a little bit noisier in the background here because Daddy's made an appearance and we're just ready for action. But we'll keep going to see how we get on. Anyway, those early weeks, the kicking of you, or rascal. Do you want to go and see your daddy? What's wrong? You going to go in the toy room? There's another Dodie. There's no but wonder I can't find all these Dodies. There's 4 Dodies I found underneath that cot. Look at that there. Watch here a wee second. There's one. Look, there's one. There's, hold on, 2, 3. There's one at the back here. 4. There's another one. I can't reach that one. There's 5 Dodies underneath her cot. And I was wondering why I can't find them. Right, hold on. Put them up here because I need a wee wash in the sink. Right, bear with me. Yes. I don't know, does it ever happen in your house that Dodies always go missing? And I thought I would have to go out later to buy some more, but turns out I don't have to because there's 5 I found underneath the cot. But anyway, she'll need her wee nappy change. Do you want to change her? Do you have time to change her nappy? It's full of beans. It's great. My hubby's working from home today and it's very nice. Whenever he's here, there's lunch break to give me a wee hand to change nappies and to get lunch on the go. Where was I? Yes, we're chatting about, focusing on the negative stories. If there was one piece of advice that I could offer, that would be to blaze your own trail and figure out what is true for you on your journey. Please don't make the mistake that I did and waste 1 minute of your time listening to those negative stories, which simply, certainly in my experience, are not true. Those early weeks and months of motherhood were a complete whirlwind. It felt like we were kind of almost living inside a little cocoon in our own home. And getting out one day, I remember it so well, to the local shopping centre. I needed to buy some baby grows, pick up a couple of packs of nappies, and of course when I was out to grab a good strong hot cup of coffee as well. And actually being able to do that, it felt like the biggest luxury in the world. Something like nipping out to the shops or maybe going out my lunch break at work to grab a cappuccino. Something I took for granted and never really thought much about. Now, whenever the girls arrived, it just number one, felt like such a marathon to be able to do it. But number 2, it was such a luxury to be able to get out and grab a coffee with the girls in tow as well. Although, as I say, it was a real marathon, as both the girls were crying, I was exhausted by the time that I got home. And I was only running a simple errand. And I thought to myself, how in the world are we going to manage getting out and about each day whilst taking care of the 2 babies in the process? But, as I say, like anything in life, we figured it out and we managed. And that's the key here. I remember, I think it was around day 3, and I was changing Isla's nappy at the time, and I just burst into tears for no reason. Have you ever experienced that before? My tummy was very tender after the C-section, and it was difficult getting up and down from a chair and moving about the house. I certainly wasn't running the Belfast Marathon that week anyway, and I was absolutely exhausted, as I think we got about 15 minutes sleep in the past 3 days that week, and I was so emotional. The hormones were all over the place. I just kept thinking to myself, what has life become now? I made the mistake of listening to some advice I was given around feeding. And the advice was to feed the girls separately. And I thought one of us had to be up all the time to look after the babies. And looking back on that now, I was so very naive in the beginning. Our health visitor had advised us to feed the babies together, which was, let me tell you, absolutely life changing. It took so long in those early days to feed one baby, and by the time one twin was finished feeding, the next twin was due and back round again for another feed. It felt like we never got a minute free between feeding the two of them. Once we started feeding the twins together and we got some sleep when they slept during the day and night, things started to become a little bit more brighter. Right, I'm just looking at my watch here. Aria is wakened. Isla is almost surfacing here. I think that I'm going to have to take you with me during lunchtime today to record the rest of this podcast. I hope you don't mind. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to pause for a couple of minutes, get 2 nappy pies changed here. I'm going to make some lunch, and then I will grab the microphone and sit beside the 2 girls in their high chairs whenever they're eating. And you might as well come along with us to enjoy our lunch if that's okay with you. But sure, you might as well come and join us for lunchtime. You know, we're talking about motherhood here and what our experience of parenthood has been like over the past 2 years. So you're getting a very honest and real perspective of life here in our family home. So I'll put the microphone down here for a couple of minutes to get these nappy pies changed, and I might as well, I'll start recording maybe as I make the girls' lunch and talk you through what we're making this afternoon, and we'll pick up for the rest of the podcast from there. Right, I'm back again. Isla's still sleeping, so I'll quickly make lunch when one twin's up, and I'll wake Miss Isla up once I have the lunch ready to go. I don't know, do any of you mums and dads of multiples have twins or triplets, and one twin is like a champion sleeper and the other twin, she is a good sleeper? There's nice eggs actually. Let's see, I'm in the middle of my fridge here at the minute, and it's looking quite empty. Today is grocery shopping day. You can always tell at this stage of the week, but I've ordered my groceries there, and I think the groceries are coming tonight sometime between 5 and 7, so I better not forget about that. Right, let's get this lunch on the go. We'll have a wee bit of, what date's not there? Right, cheese. What date's that? 06/07/2025. Right, we'll go for a wee bit of cheese, a wee bit of watermelon. Yes, that might be nice. A wee bit of watermelon, a banana. We throw this cheese in the bench here. Back and forth here between the fridge and the bench. Right, I'll make some scrambled egg and a wee bit of toast. And you know what? That'll do the job lovely. Right, I'll grab the butter and the milk where the eggs go really all right. Get the fridge shut here now. Right, butter, milk. And I'm trying to hold the microphone in the process. If you see the ship of my, but sure. Right. Okay, now let's give this lunch a wee go. I'm going to set this microphone down here. In fact, do you know what? It's on top of a wee pack of crackers that'll give the girls as well. So hopefully you can still hear me. Right, let's go. Yes, I'll make the scrambled eggs first. This is so strange, recording a podcast during the girls' lunch. Normally I'm like go, but I'm trying to multitask. But sure, aren't we all used to multitasking in parenthood anyway, aren't we? Right, what do I need? I need the jug here, and I need a wee spoon and a knife. Right. But yeah, no, I'm just pouring the milk in here. I don't know what way you make your scrambled eggs, but I put a wee bit of milk in, a wee tootty bit of butter. There we go. I'm gonna get these eggs cracked. I wouldn't mind a wee bit of scrambled egg myself. I'll fire on an extra. Oh, shaker nearly dropped the egg. Happy bad crack. There we go, that's one. I might stick a wee bit of egg on for myself because I'm starving today. I didn't really get a chance to eat much at the Tots group earlier just because it was so busy, and you're running after the two of them. I never really get a chance that often to get a cup of tea or to chat to the other mums. I'm just washing my hands here. Back at the microphone now. Yes, I don't really get much of a chance to have a wee cup of tea or chat to some of the other mums or grandparents there. These scrambled eggs stirred here. I'm not even trying to compete with them to talk over them. Stir it up. Oh, there we go. I'm making a queer hash of this anyway, but look, we'll stick these on. Right. And I'll stick a wee bit of toast on here. Look at that there. He was using this microwave last. I wonder if it was himself. It probably was. Right, a minute. There we go. We'll go again. Right, let's get some toast to go. Now, right, that's the scrambled eggs to go. Look at that there. How many slices of bread we left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, lovely enough. Just as well, as I say, the groceries are coming tonight. Now, let's get a couple of wee slices of bread on for the toast. So that's the scrambled egg on. That's the toast on. I'm gonna. Where's our wee plates? Right, here's a wee bit of cheese. But Isla loves cheese, like she is a real cheese monster in our house. Aria loves it as well. But it's interesting, you know, the different tastes that the girls like. I tried, these girls fire a lot of food on the floor as well, but I'm eating half the cheese on them as well. But I'm not hungry. The girls have similar tastes, but you know, some of the things maybe Isla will like, Aria won't, and vice versa. Like Aria loves fruit, so does Isla. Where there's the eggs already. Wait, I get another wee stir here. Coming on nicer. But like, Aria loves fruit. Isla loves fruit as well. But Aria really loves it. I started giving them wee grapes. They're not big fans of strawberries, but wee grapes, love bananas, and our local shop here, which is great, has lots. Did I wash my hands here? Sorry. I'm doing that many things at the one time here. Our local shop always has lovely fresh melon and watermelon, so I pick up a couple of packs of that as well, and the girls love it. It's always hash afterwards. Sorry, I'm just cutting the banana here. It's always a hash afterwards, but I know the girls love it. Right, there's the watermelon. But no, it's great. So like, I try to come up with different things each week. You know what I do my grocery shopping online, which is so much handier. You see, dragging the two girls in around the shops. Number one, it's not always easy. I'm sure you know yourself, getting a twin pram or a twin trolley around the shops. I saw one of the twin mums actually this morning on Instagram. From here, found a twin trolley, and she was going around Tesco's this morning, so good on you, Kelly. It's always a win whenever you find a twin trolley, it's great. But it's not always easy getting one. There's the eggs. Ready? Yes, perfect. Look at that, nice fluffy eggs. It's not always the easiest to get, as I say, to get the twin trolley, and then I've never actually been brave enough to go around a big, large supermarket, grocery store with the girls in the trolley yet. I'll have to work up, that's another thing I'll have to work up my confidence for. Normally, if I'm doing a big shop, as I say, I'll do it online. A very odd time, I'll maybe nip in and get some groceries, but I'll keep the girls in the pram while I'm doing it and fire in what I can into the the wee basket underneath the pram for the groceries. That's what I'll normally do. But like, I don't know what that would be like. I'll try it sometime to put them in the trolley just to see what it's like, whether they'll be trying to get out of the trolley or, you know, take the things off the shelves. I don't know how that's going to go, but look, you're nothing bent or nothing gained, so maybe that'll be my next big task I'll go after when I'm working on my confidence and getting out and about with the two girls on my own. Oh, there's the toast ready. Right, the eggs are ready. Could I put this in the bin here now? God love you is listening to me with this here, you know, because I'm doing that many things at the one time and I'm just chatting to you. So hopefully it's of some interest to you anyway. As I say, I've never actually been doing a big shop in the shopping trolley with the twins, but Kelly, you've inspired me to do it. So I might try it once and see how we get on. Where'd my knife go? There it is. So maybe I will do it. But in terms of lunch and dinners, for the girls, their breakfast is quite similar. It's mainly, well, once they get up in the morning, I'll give the girls a wee bottle of milk, because they still like their bottle of milk in the morning, which I don't begrudge. And then they'll get a wee bit of porridge. Sorry, I had to actually think what way I normally cut the toast. I'm doing that, but I think here, there's 4 wee triangles now. Yes, what was I saying? I'm going over more stuff to you here now. Yes, you know, in terms of their breakfast, lunch, dinner and snacks, I try to vary it each week. But in the morning time, the girls will still take their milk, because they still enjoy a wee bottle of milk and look for it in the morning, so I don't begrudge that. And then I'll give them maybe about an hour or two after that. I'll give them a little bowl of porridge with a wee bit of banana in it, and they really enjoy that. And then for lunchtime, at the minute, this is something that I'm kind of just throwing together. And it's basically, I'll grab this wee bowl for the eggs. It's basically what's left in our fridge at this time of the week, whenever it is grocery shopping day. So in front of me here at the minute, this is just a prime example. A wee bit of scrambled eggs, throw a few eggs together, a wee bit of toast, have watermelon, cheese, banana, and I'll actually have the crackers that the microphone is sitting on top of here. I'll maybe give them a wee cracker as well. But some of the things, like I like to give them yogurt. What else do I give them? Grapes. Strawberries they're not a big fan of, not yet anyway. Trying to think, crackers, grapes. I tried cucumber the other week to be a bit adventurous with myself, but neither of the two of them liked it. Even tried raspberries. No, raspberries didn't go down very well either. But that's kind of like, I've given them wee ham sandwiches. I've actually even tried avocado with them and a wee bit of toast. I know that sounds very fancy. But I tried it once and Aria liked it usual, Isla didn't. I don't know if any of his mums and dads have multiples. One twin is a wee bit more adventurous and trying new things with the other. Maybe takes her a wee week or two, so I keep at it, which is wee Isla. I'll keep at her and encouraging her to eat new things, and then she comes round whenever she's ready to try new things to eat. Right, so I've watermelon here, cheese, crackers, a wee bit of banana, toast and some scrambled egg. So I'm going to wake Isla here, get her wee nappy changed and serve lunch, and once the girls are in the high chairs I'll come back to you to finish the rest of this podcast. You eating your lunch, we are there? That's good, girl, eating up a nice banana. Right, let's get Miss Isla up. There's the wee teddy, the wee blankie. Wakey, wakey, Miss Isla. Oh, it's a big stretch. It's a big stretch. It's time to get up or you'll not sleep tonight. You had a good sleep today. You were queer and active at the tots group, weren't you? You took a big sleep. Where's that old Dodie? What's the your old mama? Oh, is there the wee newborn scrunch? Oh, wakey, wakey. That's Mummy's microphone. We're recording the podcast. Look, it's lunchtime. I'm just about to change Isla's nappy here. I had to wake her up from her little nap. I have the microphone beside me here on the nappy changing table. Oh, wee darling, you're just woke up. I've just woke up, Mum. I'm not ready for waking up. I'm not ready. But you won't sleep tonight. Look, an hour and a half you slept the day. That's so I'm going. So I seen you were so active at the tots group. Now, where did I get this nappy changed? Where's those wipes at? Those wipes. That's a good girl. Look, Mummy's made you some nice lunch today. Where's the cream? Now, quick. Now, the Mummy puts this nappy. Oh, and this nappy bin. Now, ta-ta to Mama. Good girl. Oh, sleeping Mama. Got a big sleep today. Oh, you hear it rubbing your eyes. Oh, Mummy loves you, doesn't she? Mummy loves her wee island, or yes it does. Big stretch. That's a big stretch. Look, I'm going to get this nappy pie on here now. Wait a minute. Now, the vest on. Here we go, almost done. As I said earlier, I'll not miss the nappy changing stage, that's for sure. I kind of, it's just like go now, I don't even think about it. I remember the very first nappy I put on, I actually broke down in tears because I put it on the wrong road and it was that hormonal. I'd never changed a nappy before in my life and now I've changed thousands. Oh, wee darling, just so tired. Mum might put you in her high chair here. Look at the nice lunch Mum made now. Are you not hungry? He's giving up. Why did you get that sellotape? Where did you, Aria? Tell Mum, look at that. Where did you get that sellotape? Oh no. Mummy, don't be throwing that plate on the floor. Aria, good girl. That's a good girl. Hey, who's giving it off? Don't be throwing the plate on the floor. Excuse me, who's grumpy? Aria, who's grumpy? Here. There, good girl. Now, wait till Mummy gets Isla in the high chair. Isla needs to get some big too. What's wrong? Who's giving off today? What's wrong? Hold on a minute. to get Ayla in the high chair. Hold on. It's giving off a bagful. Now, give us that old loader. Ta-ta to Mummy. Did I get this tray on? Mummy's in the middle of recording the podcast here. Get this tray on. There we go with me hand. Good care. Now look at that nice lunch there. Are you not hungry? Where's the wee drink guy? Now, do you want your wee drink guy? No, good girl. There we go. Right, I'm back again. I think I've stopped and started this podcast so many times today between Ayla and Aria waking up, nappies needing changed, lunch needing made, but the naps are over, the nappies are changed, the lunch is made, and Ayla and Aria are just sitting in front of me here at the minute, eating away at their nice lunch. Now, you're going to be too good care to eat your lunch up nice and Mummy finishes. Yes, you laughing? Ayla's laughing away here. Yes, we pet. As Mummy tries to attempt to continue recording this podcast, Ayla's laughing, so we'll see how that goes. You can see the mischievousness. Yes, we pet. She's chugging into a wee piece of watermelon here, and Aria is drinking away at her wee juice. So we'll keep going with this podcast anyway. Yes, I'm trying to think, where in the world was I before all of that? Before Aria woke up, lunch needed made. Yes, we were chatting about the early days of motherhood. And I definitely felt, certainly in that first year of motherhood, that it felt like a real year. You know, people had said to me, I probably said it earlier on, but people had said to me, you know, Carla, I really enjoy these early days of parenthood because they go by so fast. But, you know, I have to disagree. In my experience, that year certainly felt like a long old year. It was busy days and nights, and it didn't feel that it went in fast for me. But what I will say is we were very lucky. The girls were born in April. And yes, what are you laughing? Are you laughing away at Mummy? Layla's laughed away at Mummy recording the podcast. At least somebody finds the podcast funny. That's all right. That's grand. Are you happy today? You know, I said, Ayla, what was it there during the week? There is broad. I said to Ayla during the week, are you happy today, Ayla? And all I got back was the big, aye. I was like, where in the world are these girls picking up this broad accent from? I don't know. Maybe you might know, but I don't think they picked. I don't know. Who knows where they get this old broad accent from anyway? But yeah, she's laughing away here. She said, are you happy today, Ayla? Are you happy today, Miss Aria? Yes, we're queer fun at tots this morning. But anyway, yes. We were lucky, to say the girls were born in April, and those early days, you know, they were during the spring and the summer months, so the mornings were that little bit brighter, and they really did help a lot with my mood at that time. My hormones were all over the place, and in fact, I felt it took the guts of at least that first full year until I really felt like myself again. You know, I was exhausted. I wasn't attending work. I wasn't going to do a day's work anymore. My work was now at home on my own, looking after two babies, not commuting to the big city, or out and about on filming and, you know, for TV locations. You know, my life was just so different. Just, you know, a different type of busy. Now, Aria, don't be spitting out that juice now. Come here, pet. Now, just carrying on. Mummy's going to have to change that t-shirt. Aria started this thing now where she drinks her wee juice and then spits it out. But anyway, sure, we'll keep going. And, you know, my body has completely changed since having the girls. And, you know, I'll be honest with you, it did take some time to feel comfortable within myself again. And whilst things do feel a little bit more comfortable now, there is always room for improvement. In fact, I must take myself into town some day to try and get a couple of wee floaty tops to wear over the summer, just to tide me over. Whenever I am out and about with the girls, comfort is key for me. I love my gym leggings and comfy t-shirts, but now that we're coming into the summer weather, like I was roasting this morning, running after the pair of them with the torch grip, so I must get into town and get a couple of wee, just cheap floaty tops to kind of tide me over during the summer. Anyway, yes, I've been way off on a whole tangent there, but yes, honestly, since the beginning, I've never recorded a podcast that has been up and down and all over the place as much as we have been today But that is the honest experience of twin motherhood that I could possibly give you in our home here this afternoon. It's like that most afternoons, or most days in fact, here. When I think about it, we started this podcast with just come in the door from Tots groups. I had 2 sleeping babies, then one little baby woke up, she went back to sleep again, and then another little baby woke up, played and carried on in the cot. We got her up, we got one nappy changed, I got lunch made, I woke up the other twin, got her nappy changed. The naps are over, the nappies are changed, lunch is made and consumed, and they both, Isla and Daria, are to the right of me here, just in the little toy room. So lunch was all over the place. I've just tidied up. There was food, a wee bit of food on the floor. Whenever I started weaning the girls, there was lots of food on the floor and all over the high chairs and that. I have to say now the girls have improved greatly, thankfully. But yes, every day there would certainly be, who's throwing toys? Who's throwing toys up and down the corridor? What was I going to say? Yes, there's always a wee bit of food on the floor, so we've got that brushed up, mopped down, the girls cleaned in their toy pen, and fingers crossed I will be able to finally finish this podcast with you. You will hear little Isla and Aria to the right of me here playing away in the toy room, but we'll keep going with this podcast anyway. Fingers crossed there'll be no more interruptions. I am expecting a parcel to be delivered this afternoon, so if the doorbell goes, we may have another who's throwing toys. We may have another interruption this afternoon, but I need to get out the door because I have a couple of messages to do in town, so I'll get this podcast finished today. I'll have a big job ahead of me now in the edit. When I think about it, I've recorded this podcast in 3 different rooms of the house today, so goodness knows what the levels will be like, or in fact what the conversation's like, because we've been all over the place. But I like to be very real and honest with you. On the Twins Mommy NI podcast, yes. Who's carrying on? Who's jumping up and down? Yes. The 2 happy ladies this afternoon. These are well slept and well fed anyway, I can tell. As happy ladies now. Right, Mommy's going to finish the rest of her podcast. Is that okay? And then we'll jump in the car and you're going to help Mommy pick up a couple of messages this afternoon in town. Will that do? Right, good girls. Now, sat down here and I'm trying to think where we left off whenever I was last chatting to you. Yes, I think I was chatting about the 10-week mark. I would love to go back to that time now. But anyway, yes, around the 10-week mark, I noticed, when the girls were 10 weeks old, I noticed things became a little bit easier. The girls were sleeping longer, not crowing in the background like that. The whole house was getting enough sleep to sustain us, and I had managed to finally get out of my pink dressing gown and even venture out for a couple of nice walks with the girls in the sunshine as well. And you know, these little aspects, they may seem very small to some, but to me, they were momentous in those early old days of twin motherhood. Sleep was the biggest thing for me in the beginning. I mean, before we had children, I thought I was tired when I come home from a day's work. How wrong I was. Like, nothing ever compares to the newborn baby stage when it comes to getting a good night's sleep. You know, I almost feel bad that I ever complained that I was tired before the girls arrived. And you think to yourself, how did you spend your money? And how did you spend your time before babies? I do not know. But look, that conversation's for another day. Anyway, in keeping with the theme of this week's podcast episode, I have 2 loud rascals in the background here. But the past 2 years of motherhood, as I've said, have been a complete whirlwind. There were lots of happy days. There certainly were some hard days. And there were those days in between that I felt that we survived. And we did what we had to do to get by. And you know what? That was good enough for me. I remember in the beginning thinking that the newborn stage and that lack of sleep was what life would be like now for the foreseeable. But thankfully, whilst we don't get a perfect night's sleep now, I am thankful that things are definitely getting easier. And we do, for the most part, get enough sleep to get by each day. Some people do say that things get easier. And I think for us, it's a case of priorities changing and a different set of circumstances to navigate now. I mean, Long gone are the days where I would leave Isla and Aria on the play mat, stick on the kettle in the kitchen next door, come back, and they would still be in that same position. And you kind of sometimes miss those little days. But one very obvious change that I know that we had to adapt to was the playpen. Now, let me have a chat about this. We have now had to get rid of our playpen quite a few months ago now, as it simply just was not working in our house anymore. When you see two wee legs throw themselves up and over the pen, you know it's time for a change. We have a wee small room in our house here, which we've converted into a little toy room for the girls. It's nothing fancy, but it's practical and it works for us. There's a child gate across the doorway, and I'm hoping over the next month or two to put up some nice pieces of the girls' own artwork on the walls and some family photos just to make the room nice for the girls. At the minute, they have all their favourite toys in the room, and there's enough space there they can run about to their little heart's content. In our house at the minute, especially when I'm on my own, I would find it difficult managing the two of them as they would run about the house. I think, if we had one child, it certainly would be easier in this respect. But until they have a little bit more understanding of what is safe and what is not, the toy room is working very well for us, and we're going to stick with that. But having said that, at times I feel guilty as a mum of multiples. Obviously I'm outnumbered by the girls when I'm on my own and my husband is away to work. So I have to make calls that I imagine parents who have one child don't have to make. Listen to the laughter of the two of them. Giggling away, the two of them. They must be... Actually, I'm going to kick in here because whenever there's giggling going on like that, goodness knows what the two of them are up to. Excuse me, who's carrying on in here? Yes, he's jumping up and down. He's good pals this afternoon anyway. Hopefully who's firing the ball up around there? Yes, that's all right, that's okay. They're good pals this afternoon, so hopefully that'll stay that way for a wee while. But anyway, let me explore this in some detail with you. The toy room is one aspect of where I tend to feel guilty as a mum of multiples. The room is big enough, certainly for the two of them at this stage, and it's great that the girls have their own little freedom and their own wee special place in the house to play. And at times, I would like to let them run free around the house, but I know it's just simply not a safe option at the minute, at this young stage. So one way around this is, after Isla and Aria have their porridge each morning, I place one twin in the playroom and I place the other twin at a little area, it's just beside me here actually, that I've created for learning in our house. There's a small table and two little chairs at either end of that table. And I have created a few different activities that we can play together. For example, I'll just look over here. Yes, I have a huge basket. In fact, it's an old laundry basket that I've repurposed. And there's a little colourful rainbow just in the front of it. And I have collected lots of different items from the house that I feel, from around the house that I feel might be of some importance to the girls that they would use in their everyday. So I'll go over it and see here what we have. So inside we have a shoe. It's one of the first shoes that the girls ever wore, one of the wee pre-walkers. We have a blue plate. We have a pink spoon. We have a little white cup. We have a set of Christmas pyjamas, would you believe? An orange ball, a little pink doll, and we have a car. Now, there's a few more items in there, like a book and lots of other things. But, this is not going on, but that just to give you a bit of a flavour what's inside. There's a wrecking session going on out there. Each morning I bring each item out, I name it and describe it, try to describe it to the girls how they might use that particular item. For example, a plate, and I'll talk them through, okay, this is a little plate we use for our lunch, we use for our dinner, that we set little food on. They might grab the plate from me and fire the plate and have no interest some days, and then some days they'll look at it and investigate it, but my hope is that it would aid their understanding and their speech. We also on this table have some puzzles that I ordered with some toy toddler colouring books. The girls had their birthday there very recently in April, and one of the mums very kindly gave us some Play-Doh to play with, and we have a little book corner here as well. And I work with each twin individually each morning. And once this learning time is over, I change over, and one twin comes with me to the learning table, and the other twin is playing away back in the toy room. I let them run free around the house individually, and this has really helped a lot. These girls just love to explore. If any of you listening have seen us, maybe at the TOTS classes, or been out and about at the walks or the coffee meetups, you'll know yourself just how active these girls certainly are. They're so energetic, and they have to investigate everything that they see. So I no longer feel guilty that the girls are stuck in the toy room, and it just gives me the opportunity to have some one-on-one time with each twin, which is so very important to me as well. Do you ever get that, if you're a mum or dad of multiples and you're listening today, do you ever get that one-on-one time with your children? I don't find it that easy with the girls, but I try to carve out some time each day to incorporate that one-on-one time with them. It's very important to me. Some days we're just not possible. Maybe it's just been such a busy old day. Maybe the girls' emotions haven't been great that day. They're a little bit unsettled, or maybe I am just exhausted and we don't manage it. And do you know what? I never put pressure on myself to think, at the end of each day, I never look back and think, gosh, I wish I did that today, or I wish I did that. Do you know what? We are all doing the very best that we can, and every day doesn't have to be filled with lots of different activities. If that day you get up and nappies are changed, the children are fed, and that's all you've been able to achieve that day, that is good enough. There are good days, there are hard days, and as I say, there are those days in between that we just come together, do what we can to get by, and that is good enough, let me tell you. What I want to chat to you about is another aspect that I've incorporated into her day as I manage twin toddlers now, who, I'll have to be honest with you, are running circles around me, is getting them out to the park and meal. Now, this is a big topic. If you're in that situation on your own with your children, I would love to hear some feedback from you on what works for you, because I'm always open to advice. Every day is a school day, certainly in this house. I'm always learning something new. So I would love to hear how you manage if you take your children as a parent of multiples out to the park on your own. But this was something that I also felt very guilty about as a twin mum. I wanted to take the girls on my own to enjoy the swings and the slides at the park, but I wasn't confident going on my own, being able to have a pair of eyes on both of them at all times as they run in complete different directions. I'll share a scenario with you. We went to Ballycastle, a wee run one day there, I think it was last month. And the weather was lovely. We went for a nice walk across the beach. Of course, the girls were in the pram. And I took a notion to myself, there was a little park nearby, and I kind of thought to myself, I don't want the girls to miss out on the fun that they could potentially have at that park because I'm on my own here with the two of them. So what I did was I kept one twin in the pram, and I lifted the other twin out and placed her on the slide and swing, and then let her run free. Then I swapped each child over and placed one twin back in the pram and let the other child then have a little go to enjoy all of the fun activities at the park. Now, don't get me wrong, this was not easy. It certainly was not. They didn't like to go back into the pram again when they were out playing in the park, and this is something that I have been working on during twin toddlerhood. But I love seeing the enjoyment that the girls get when they are out and about. So I've learned one wee trick around this. When it's time for the girls to go back into the pram, I always have a little snack ready which keeps them occupied, and I can safely put them back in the pram without too many tears. I'll maybe have a wee banana, a wee flask of water, maybe some grapes, something small, quick that I can grab, always does the trick. So I like to make sure that I always have snacks in hand, we're out and about, and this has been life-changing for me. Whenever we were at the park that day in Ballycastle, lots of people kept looking at me, and all of them had said to me the usual, that I have my hands full. But I didn't really pay much attention to that. I guess it's hard for others to understand situations and what we do as parents of multiples to get by each day. Unless you're actually in the situation itself, it's hard to understand. So, look, I don't blame them for thinking that way. But I am so very thankful for the girls, and I never like them to miss out on anything in life just because it's the two of them and one of me. This is one example of what I do to get by each day as a mum of multiples. And you know what? That's good enough for me. Another aspect of motherhood that has been heavily on my mind as we're learning to navigate this stage of twin toddlerhood is out and about walking independently with the girls. Now, before the girls were firmly on their feet, they of course were in the pram for the most part. But at the minute, we're in that little in-between stage where they don't fully understand safety just quite yet. They understand no, all right. They may not like it, but they certainly do understand. But I would like the girls to have more of an awareness of safety before I go out in public by myself with the girls walking independently beside me. So one way around this is in the evenings when my husband's day's work is over and during the weekends as well, we take the girls out together for walks in the park and to the beach. We're very lucky to live so close to lots of nice picturesque places nearby to go for a little walk. So I jump at the chance of getting the girls out and about and walking independently without the pram. So this has really worked very well for us now, I have to say. My hope is to work up to getting out and about on my own with the two girls, walking nicely beside mum. So I'll keep you updated on how that goes, but we're definitely heading in the right direction. They love getting out and about with their little harnesses. In fact, with these lovely evenings we've had lately, I take each twin on their own and walk around our house with them, and this helps a lot as well. So like I'll take one twin out, put the little harness on, or perhaps hold her hand, and we'll do a few laps of the house. Put one twin back and get the other twin, and then do a few more laps of the house. And this actually it works. It works in their little independence, and they are certainly improving and holding my hand very nicely and walking alongside me, which is great. And I actually feel that it helps with bedtime as well. They enjoy the fresh air, a bit like myself, and settle down quite well in the evening. So I do think the fresh air certainly does help. But just off the top of my head, those are some of the big topics that I am managing now as a mum of twin toddlers in this second year of twin motherhood. And hopefully by chatting through this with you, it might be of some benefit to someone listening out there. Before we move forward with this podcast episode, can I say to you, the listener, if you are tuning into this week's podcast episode, you're still with us, and you're maybe feeling that things at home are really hectic, please know that you are not alone with this feeling. The past 2 years have come with many ups and downs. I certainly don't have it all figured out, but nor do I need to. Like every one of you, we are just learning as we go. There are days that are easier than others, but I have learned to breathe through the hard moments and remind myself that they do and will pass. It's actually a wee bit quiet out here now. I'm always very suspicious when it's quiet. Let me have a wee kick in here. What's going on? I can hear a wee voice. Are we okay? I listen to a wee book and you're playing with the wee telly. That's okay. See when it's quiet in our house? Yes, it's not. There's definitely always something up, so I always like to have a wee check, but we're doing okay. So yes. Let's have a chat about some of the things that help certainly for our family and navigating those early years of motherhood. And the biggest thing for me was getting out for a walk whilst listening to some nice music at the same time. It was lovely to get out the door to enjoy some fresh air and a little change of scenery. I felt that I was able to have some time just for me as I listened to music as well, which was really needed at times. I love attending TOTS classes. Now, When I first started attending these classes, I was really nervous, to be honest with you. I wasn't sure how to manage the twins of my own. You're always outnumbered as a parent of multiples, and I'm sure you understand that very well yourself. But it took me some time in the beginning to work up the courage to get out and about to classes on my own. But as I attended each class, I noticed that my confidence improved greatly, and I learned some tips and tricks on how to effectively get out the door with multiples. I like to be organised, so I'll have a nappy and a snack bag packed up that morning. I would set the girls' outfits and a wee pair of shoes and socks out the night before. And I struggled during snack time at the classes as both girls were difficult to manage on my own, sitting in the chairs in peace. They always wanted to jump up and run about. So I brought my own little chairs with me to the classes, and this helped a lot. I've started to walk each twin into the class independently, and this helps to reduce the amount of things that I need to cadge in with me to the class. It's nice not to have to put that double pram up and down each time as well. Now, for example, when we attended this touch group this morning, I walked the two girls in together, and I put a wee pair of socks and shoes in one twin and carried her around to the other side of the car, got the other twin out, put the two of them down and immediately grabbed their hands, and we walked in nicely together. I think anybody has, say for example, two children, and you're trying to get the two of them out of the car together and into a venue, you have to get it down to a fine art. And I practice really helped with that. Like, I would practice in my garage at home, taking one twin out of the car, holding her whilst trying to get the other twin out of the car at the same time, put them down, and then been able to walk through the door of the house. And I kept doing that over and over again, and that really helped with my confidence. Things you take for granted, or you just take the child out of the car and you go in somewhere. It's different whenever you have more than one child, definitely. So that practice certainly helped me, number one, from a practical point of view, but two, from a confidence point of view as well. But what I will say is, I like to make the effort to attend these classes because what they meant to me was that I was then able to meet other adults throughout the day and enjoy a little chat with them. And this has been a real lifeline for me, certainly during those early days of motherhood when I was at home alone taking care of two babies. And if you find yourself that the days are long, or maybe you long for some adult company, I would encourage you to check out the local tots groups in your area and take that first step and attend them. I promise you that you won't regret it. I always said to myself, I'll go. And look, if it's that difficult, well, I can just turn and come home again. I have to say now, I haven't had to make that decision yet, but it is there if I need to. And I'm so thankful to have met lots of friends through these groups. And the girls have bonded with lots of children their age as well, which is lovely. Life as a twin mum is definitely a very happy one. But there are days that I do find difficult as well. It's in these moments that I'm learning to pause and not feel afraid to say to someone, you know what, I'm finding things a wee bit difficult here. Can you please help me? One thing that I really love doing is making time to enjoy a cup of coffee and a chat with some of my friends. And I particularly love the multiples meetups that we have each month. We've had a couple of coffee meetups lately. I'll try and get the walks up and going shortly if I can now as well, now that we have all this good weather. But I love just making time to enjoy a wee cup of coffee and a chat. It's great, just to have that opportunity to be able to offload and discuss something that isn't around parenting, like changing nappies or, managing toddler emotions or everything that comes with parenthood. And that chat with friends and my husband as well can be very helpful and certainly very much needed at times. Never underestimate the power of a listening ear. To me, a problem shared is always a problem halved. Being a twin mum, well, it has completely changed my entire outlook on life. Life now is so unrecognisable, but I wouldn't have it any other way. I love my twin girls with my whole heart, and I am so very thankful for them. They bring so much joy to everybody that we meet each day, and I'll always be very thankful for that. Lots of people told me how much my life would change when I became a mum, that my perspective would change, my body and my career with that. But no one talked about the joy that motherhood can bring too. Yes, of course, it can feel difficult at times, but in my opinion, I feel there's a real joy to be found in twin motherhood as well. In my experience, nothing worth having in life is ever easy. However, sometimes the joy of motherhood gets hidden among all the layers of responsibility, you've sleep deprivation, and an unending expectations that accompany it in this current day. But over the past 2 years since becoming a mum, I've changed an insurmountable number of nappies and I've washed an unending amount of bottles, let me tell you. But I've also laughed more and delighted in the simple occurrences of everyday family life in our home. The joy of watching Isla and Aria when they first learned to smile, or to stand up, or to take those very first steps. These are the memories that I will always hold on to. One thing that I like to focus on is enjoying each day of family life for what it is. I used to put far too much pressure on myself, thinking that I should be doing everything all day long. I wanted to make sure that I was doing everything that I could to contribute to Isla and Aria's development and preparation for life as they got older. However, over time, I learned that we don't necessarily have to accomplish everything all day, every day. And I learned this from little cues from the girls, that even just sitting with them in the toy room, perhaps reading a little story and playing together, well, do you know what? That's good enough. And this really helped a lot in those first 2 years of twin motherhood. Just being content with being present with whatever happens, and to go with the flow more instead of planning every single minute of the day. Over time, I learned to feel okay with the fact that children don't need to be worked with all day long. Rather, they're happy playing in their own little world, and saw that Mommy was there at times too. And sure, what more would you want? Over the past couple of years since the girls arrived, I have been very humble, to say the least. I acknowledge that I am growing alongside Isla and Aria. Motherhood, it can certainly bring up the best in us. And it also brings out some of my insecurities as well. Little Isla and Aria have taught me so much about myself and about life. One of my favourite things that I really enjoy as a twin mum is the sheer joy that the girls bring to so many people. I've said it earlier on, but when we are out and about, lots of people stop to ask us questions, and they always have a smile on their face when they meet the girls. And I love the fact that they bring so much joy to many people on our travels, and for that, I will always be very thankful. There are many seasons in motherhood. At the minute, we are currently in the trenches of the toddler mayhem season, and some seasons come naturally to us, and others do feel that little bit more challenging. But one thing that I have learned is that if we are in a difficult season, those moments, well, they do pass. Unsettled nights, teething, managing emotions, every one of them, they all pass. Each phase of the twins' development passes, and we welcome a new phase, a new learning, and a new season of joy of its very own. Lastly, I suppose being a twin mum is a journey like no other. Amidst the chaos, there's a real joy to be found. Each day, we are cherishing the special moments, the cuddles, when they call me mummy, that twin bond, and of course the little giggles that fill our family home. And I'm so very thankful for each of these little moments of sheer joy. And I try to remind myself of each one when I need a little extra boost in the days that can feel very long. So that's just my experience of twin motherhood over the past 2 years. I have no idea what the future may look like, but we'll keep going, putting one foot in front of the other as we manage life together as a family of 4. Well, that's it for this week's episode, folks. We made it. We made it to the very end. We've been up and down and around about, and so many things have happened. The sun was shining when I started this podcast, and it's now raining as I look out the window, so there'll definitely be no paddling pull out this afternoon. I hope to edit this podcast over the weekend. Goodness knows what it'll be like. I'll have a big job ahead of me with lots of different levels and stopping and starting and recording each different room, but so please do bear with me about that. But anyway, yes, thank you very much for your time today. I will join you next time for a chat on the Twins Mummy NI podcast. In the meantime, take care, and remember, there is always hope.